I was inspired by the words of a rapper in Atlanta about me in the campaign. He said, "I don't know who Andrew Yang is, but he wants to give me $1,000 a month." So if you get that word out to people where they think that's a reality, then we can get folks who do not think politics applies to them because they're just like putting, one foot in front of the other. It's most of us putting one foot in front of the other, just fighting for that next month. And then you say, hey, vote. They're like, whatever, it's not going to matter to me. It's like, yo, like he actually wants to put cash money into everyone's hands. He wants to humanize the economy. They'll still think it's too good to be true until they turn on that TV and see me standing next to Joe Biden on June 27th. Then they'll say, what, the Asian man's for real.
That was 2020 presidential candidate Andrew Yang earlier today talking about his proposal to give all Americans over the age of 18 a guaranteed basic income of $1,000 a month. Even though Mr. Yang is currently polling generously at 1%. Clearly, he is feeling his oats, in part, like he says, because he really is about to appear on a debate stage alongside former Vice President Joe Biden. That might make anybody take themselves seriously as a presidential candidate, even if they hadn't been before. I mean, it makes sense for lesser-known candidates to want to share the debate stage with a big name like Joe Biden. But if you are former President Joe Biden yourself, you might not expect that feeling to be mutual. Since launching his campaign in April, Vice President Biden hasn't appeared at a single event alongside his fellow 2020 Democratic candidates. He's been doing lots of campaign events, but always by himself. Today was the first time he did an event with his fellow candidates. Today at a presidential forum in D.C. hosted by the Poor People's Campaign, Vice President Biden was asked by the great Joy Reid, among other things, about his repeated hope against hope insistence that he'll be able to get Republicans to come along and do some bipartisan stuff should he get elected president.
How would you get past either a majority Republican Senate in which Mitch McConnell was determined to kill all of these ideas, or even a Mitch McConnell in the minority who repeated the consistent filibustering that happened when you were vice president, and anything that came from the Obama-Biden administration, Mitch McConnell considered dead on arrival?
Joy, I know you're one of the ones that think it's naive to think we have to work together. The fact of the matter is, if we can't get a consensus, nothing happens except the abuse of power by the executive. Zero.
Vice President later said, quote, "You cannot shame people to do things the right way." That appears to be a big point of contention between the former vice president and lots of the other Democrats who are all running behind him in the polls.
Let's be clear. If we're in the majority and Mitch McConnell wants to block us on the kinds of things our country needs and the kinds of things they elected me and other people to enact, then I'm all for getting rid of the filibuster. We cannot let him block things the way he did during the Obama administration.
The real issue here is, can you build a coalition for change in this country? And can we be as strategic as Mitch McConnell? I wouldn't want any of us to be as malevolent or as cynical as Mitch McConnell, but could we please just be as strategic as he is?
Can we please just be as strategic as him? Senator Michael Bennet does not have as much faith in a Republican epiphany on bipartisanship as Vice President Biden does. But we're seeing that sort of face-to-face on the same stage for the first time now that Vice President Biden, the clear leader in the polls, is starting to do events alongside his fellow candidates. Again, that started for the first time today. How fun is it going to be when they're actually all on stage at the same time simultaneously? Joy Reid joins us next. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.